If I don't innovate, somebody else will.
You are to cease all activities here immediately.
You are acting like we are engaged in some kind of mad science. But we are doing what we have done from the beginning.
There is no way.
We're left with nothing there.
I'm gonna sum it
Empty
up.
barrel.
There's no way Goblin Queen can have pubic hair in that outfit.
I'm trying to blank on what Goblin Queen looks like.
I mean,
well,
the good thing
better
is the listeners and the watchers can see that right now.
Yeah,
They're
they
seeing
can
that.
see.
No, they're gonna have to draw the same blank too.
It's just like no.
If I can't see it, nobody can see it.
All right. Images.
Well, and I mean,
You
on
don't
that
have to
note,
actually bring it.
when we're going to, that's why we have the Discord to share set images, but also we can also talk about how recently the character was up in a HasLab for Marvel Legends. There's all kinds of stuff. It's just we're
She's
living
having
in
a
the world
moment.
of yeah.
Is
She's
she
having a
really?
moment. Yeah, because she also popped up in the dark web storyline that I was talking about a little while
Okay.
ago. That was kind of like meh. I don't know.
I mean, once again,
Wait,
there was an
So
emotionally
this is Goblin
damaged
Queen and
blonde.
not Madeline Pryor.
That's the same
yeah,
person.
same thing. Yeah, same person.
Okay, why is she called Goblin Queen?
So
Oh,
at
God.
when
Okay.
yeah, so with
Let's get into this. Unpack it.
with the Inferno event, essentially she was betrayed and tossed aside by the Summers people, by Scott Summers, I guess specifically, and then she made a deal with a demon.
Sim.
Sim,
Sim,
thank you.
right?
I'm gonna shake my head and say yes. This is one of those parts where I don't have it. I don't have this X-Men lore in my head.
So I can't remember. I think it was with Sim. She made a deal. She went crazy pants, as they say on Cerebo. And
She's a woman.
Yeah, and basically went nuts, made a deal with a demon, and took over New York. Became the queen of the demons.
Now, this is something that happened
but
years ago, right? Before Inferno?
Yeah, no. This was during Inferno, the original Inferno event.
The original, gotcha.
The current dark web event should not be, and also this is another goofy thing that we should clarify, because you said the queen of the goblins, but not the. Oh, let me make sure I paste this for the chat. Not the Queen Goblin, who was in the Spider-Man Dark Web event as well, who is a different character.
Yeah,
because
Right.
they're like with all the goblins they added another one, and like she'll be, because we had a king goblin, let's do a queen one, but like wait, it's not Goblin Queen, it's Queen. They just they just moved the two things over. Like there you go.
So who do the goblins actually follow?
Madeline Pryor for the most part, Goblin Queen, but that's because there was recently a deal where she was given dominion over Limbo by Magic.
Magic just basically, I don't even remember why at this point, but yeah, Limbo was ceded from Magic to Madeline Pryor. A lot of this is also make good for Madeline Pryor, who just got the short end of the stick 1,000 times.
I feel like she's still getting the short end of the stick if she's still associated with Limbo, and
I mean,
like
it worked for Magic.
Random deal.
Yeah.
Well, but like, yeah, I suppose.
And that was kind of what.
But even Magic got screwed over pretty badly in that deal, didn't she?
I mean,
she gets to go back to Earth and hang out with her brother and the rest of the X-Men.
So
she's like,
she was also tortured and like potentially sexually assaulted in Limbo.
Not
like anything associated
she
with
was.
Limbo.
That's No, it didn't go well for her then, but she made the best of the bad situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good thing Kid Cable went away, because otherwise this is gonna be real awkward for Madeline. Because she's actually his mom, not just like pretend mom like Gigi. She's actually his mother.
Yeah, which is kind of the crux of the...
Jean feels it in her heart.
She stole Madeline's memories, so yeah.
Yeah. Wait, did she steal She didn't steal Madeline's memories though.
They just share the same memories.
No, they got combined through the magic of Inferno.
Wait, is that what so I think I have Inferno behind me, but I don't think I've ever read it all the way. Like it's one of the things where it's like did she steal Madeline Pryor's memories? I thought that she just stole the baby, and then like because of this dark web event, Madeline's like, hey, I want the memories that you had of your time with little baby Cable.
Yeah, they don't steal memories, don't they? Just share them since they're
At
technically
one
half the same person.
No, at one point,
Well, once
all of
the
the memories
clone.
of the Phoenix and Madeline got
Right.
jammed into Jean Grey because Chris Claremont's entire thing was it was Jean Grey that was the Dark Phoenix, not this amalgam dark. And it was like, you know what? Just throw it all in there. We have one
Mhm.
character. And then because it's comics, like, well, you know what would be better? We bring back Madeline Pryor. And she
Is it-
just continues to dominate Havoc.
Yeah.
Well, Havoc. I don't know if it's dominate or I mean, well, I guess it is because that's what Havoc's into. So
Yeah.
It's full on. There's very little question in this case.
Yeah. And then she found Ben Riley. It's like, oh, another one. Yes.
But that was the weird thing. I mean, we're definitely, I guess we're just covering Dark Web spoilers for this book. It
there we
was
go.
never romantic / sexual with Ben. It's just that they were kindred spirits to a certain degree. Like, oh hey, we're both clones. We've both been fucked over for our memories. Let's go get ours. And then, did you read all the event, Patrick?
I don't remember if I finished it, honestly.
You may have, and the thing is too, because the way the event was, you may have just read the X-Men stuff,
Yeah.
and essentially, like, I'd say 2/3 of the way through the event, like Madeline works it out with Jean, and they're like, "Oh no," Jean's like, "Oh no, that's legit. Like he was your child, and you didn't have any time with him. Here, have these memories." And she's like, "Oh, okay, cool. We're all good here. I'm done with my part. Ben, let's wrap it up. We're gonna call it quits." And Ben's like, "Fuck you. I didn't get shit. Like I just got screwed here." And I still don't have my memories back. And she's like, no, just stop it. We're not doing this anymore. Ben's just like, Ben got boned in this whole storyline. I'm a big Ben fan, so it's like I was definitely feeling this one, and Ben just gets shuffled aside. And Madeline, it kind of sucks because Madeline's like, oh no, I got mine, so we're all good here. I'm done. I'm gonna go ahead and set up an embassy in New York. Now not only do I get to rule Limbo, I also have Limbo's embassy in New York too. So I got double my property now. So and I got my memories of my son. So really, I'm coming out a winner.
Everything's coming up Millhouse.
Everything's coming up Millhouse.
Pretty much everything's coming up Madeline, and she's just like off to the races. And it's
okay, but wasn't
Now-
Madeline gone for like 15 years or something like that? Like,
I mean, who wasn't?
I'm just saying, it wasn't
she
like
was
she had it easy even when she was
She
around.
was gone. Like, you know,
Right.
occasionally like, oh, there's Madeline. Like, what? Oh, it was a dream of a dream. Oh, I see.
I'm just saying, I
Her-
feel like the
her
only person
mental
involved
ghost.
that really got the raw end of the deal
She
is
almost kind
Parker's
of
uncle.
Uncle Ben.
Yeah, he still ain't come back.
Well, he has though in multiple and alternate
In
timelines
alternate
and stuff like that.
realities. Yeah.
And I mean, also he's now like he's not in pain anymore. He's just kicking it up in heaven, chilling with
If you believe in that kind of thing.
He's
I mean,
probably in limbo.
I mean,
Yeah,
in
exactly.
comics
He's
there's
probably
a
making some
heaven.
deal right now.
In comics there's a heaven, and so even if we don't believe in it, there is still a comic book heaven. So there's that because
Is there?
yeah, because
There's-
remember when
just name a heaven.
Frank Castle. Remember when heaven is where Angela came from.
Yes.
Thor's sister, so there's that. But like when
No,
Frank
wait,
Castle
did she come
died,
from actual heaven, or she come from like an Asgardian afterlife?
Havan, yes, and that's you said name a heaven. I just did Havan.
Yeah.
So point still made. Anyways, so you also have when Frank Castle was an angel of death and fought demons, and so he's an angel, so that's heaven. So it can exist. Also, there's the whole thing of the fact that Nightcrawler is a son of a demon, and
I didn't say there wasn't a hell. I just
Whoa,
don't know
don't-
if
We're
Okay.
not acknowledging that.
I know we don't, but we also do when we want to. So life is life.
Kinda-
My point being is that they're in the comics we acknowledge that there is a heaven. So in
Wait,
that conceit,
no, go ahead, continue.
in
Sorry.
that conceit, Uncle Ben is kind of he lived a full life. Also, he didn't die at like 23 of
yeah,
like
but we don't know
a
where Uncle
pride
Ben's
fight.
at. We just know that he's dead.
He's in heaven. Why would you? Are you saying like during the war?
He's an old white man from the 60s.
I mean,
Ken.
yeah, I
Ken.
get that.
Ken.
Are
Who's
you
got
saying,
who's got this massive brownstone on a blue collar workers?
Well, no, you
salary?
could
No.
afford that then. That's
and
not
he didn't
fair.
have a brownstone. Like no, he bought a house when they were $20 in
Sure.
Queens. He didn't do
Sure.
that. Didn't have like a nice thing on Manhattan.
I'm just saying that house. There's a reason why Peter doesn't own the house.
Yeah, Aunt May's
Because
alive.
Aunt May does, yeah.
He couldn't afford it.
I mean, he's not gonna be able to afford the taxes. Look, man. What will fuck Spider-Man? Because that's how comics work. How do we fuck Spider-Man over?
Yeah, in
You
this
tell
case,
me.
it was how do we
Keep
how
his
do we
uncle
fuck over,
dead.
fuck over his clone? Yeah, I mean, and his that's the least of all the people who to have had stuff sully their life. Like Uncle Ben seems to be the least. Like, oh, okay, he lived a good life hypothetically. Like from all information we have, he led a good life and he passed away in his later years.
Let's not speak too loudly of this because somebody at Marvel will be listening. Like, hell, you know
Okay.
what? We haven't made Uncle Ben evil in the past.
Well, they'll be
We
like,
should
hey,
get on that.
did you read the Trouble storyline where Aunt May and Mary Parker were just like two sexy ladies out in the town? It's out there. Go look it up, people.
I
it's
mean,
a
you're
thing.
young, trying to get it in. What's the problem?
That's fine. It's just that I'm just saying like the stories they go all out there wherever you need them.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like the treatment like Batman's parents got for a while. It's like, oh, did you know they were secretly evil? Ooh.
Yeah. Well, we
We
brought them back as zombies.
Yeah.
I mean,
And-
I don't know if Batman's
Quarter
parents were
bells.
secretly evil. I think they were just evil. I
I
think
mean-
there hasn't been enough reporting on on the kind of evil they actually were.
I mean, there are a couple of different like there's the for Thomas there was like the dark Batman. Oh wait, is he going to his bookshelf or are you just grabbing a drink? He's just grabbing a drink.
I think you discussed it when we talked about Batman's evil parents.
He's like, how dare you?
Exactly. There you go. How dare you sell the name of rich white people again?
It's rude, is what it is. All right, I'm good. This is too much work.
You sound like Thomas Wayne's lawyer. I'll see you, sir, in court.
They never went to court. They had him shot. he was very rich and very powerful in Gotham.
Gotcha.
Ben Riley got what is his name now? Chasm?
Yeah.
Is it? Hold on 1 second. Is it just me or is Ken's screen flickering a lot? It could have
Ken's
just
yeah.
been me though.
Yeah,
we
we tried
haven't figured
to
out what to do. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Okay.
addressed
We're just
earlier
rolling
on.
with it.
Yeah.
Hold on, is this your MacBook? Is that why?
No, this is the one you sent me. It's still
Oh,
So
great,
weird.
Kareem.
hey,
Hey, it was working for a while.
it's working for a while and it's done this like once in the past, but hopefully I'll restart it tomorrow and it'll all be good and we'll be happy and it'll be the least of my worries.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I'm stuck in the Matrix. I said too many bad things. But anyways, I forgot where so he's Chasm now and like
Who's Chasm?
Ben
Ben
Riley.
Okay.
The thing that threw me off was in the end they're like they still gave him no resolution whatsoever. Like, oh yeah, are you gonna like just kind of like, oh, we're essentially we put him back in the toy box for the next person to come along and pull him out when they're ready for a story. And it's like there's ways to do that and pay off the story itself better. And they didn't even pay off his story in this. And it really sucked when Madeline was just like, oh no, I got mine. We're just wrapping this up. And it felt weird. It felt like a half formed story where they're like, we want to do something in this book and especially when they first introduced it to him, like, wait, where's the corollary between the two? But I'm like, oh wait, no, they're both
That
clones.
actually makes a lot of
Yeah, I see the connections. So
Was the story meant to highlight both of them, or was this just like they were highlighting her and they were like, hey, well, he's tangentially related?
it's more. I was gonna say it more felt like it was. It is a crossover event, a minor one, but it's called Dark Web. So it's like the focus was on Chasm, and
Okay.
so it was his story, and so the fact that he got less resolution than cheated seems a
Agreed.
bit
Okay.
odd. Like if it was
Yeah, from that viewpoint.
from that viewpoint, because it's like they have the main Dark Web story that ran like there was maybe an Alpha and Omega issues, and then there's also there's the X-Men X-Men 3-issue miniseries, a Ms. Marvel one, and a Gold Goblin one, and like those, and then throughout the Amazing Spider-Man story. And so even for X-Men, it was just that 3-issue side story, but and with Phil Note art, and it was really good. And also an issue or two of Black Cat and Mary Jane. But like, so it was definitely more on the Spider-Man side. And so for it to mainly benefit Madeline, it was just kind of like, oh, I felt cheated because it's like they gave more to Madeline than Ben, and the focus seemed to be at least a little more, maybe 60-40. But
it felt like the X office had been wanting to do right by Madeline for a while, and they had like, well, Spider-Man, we've got this thing. We're gonna do something with Ben Reilly, but we don't want to turn him like we want to leave him in a spot where we can use him as a bad guy later or something. And they went, okay, well, we can just mush him together.
Yeah.
Kind of like the original Inferno, where it was a lot of cleanup of the Sinister stuff and the Limbo stuff and the magic. It's like throw it all in. We're cleaning it up.
That's fair. And
Wiping the books.
And because the X book read a lot better, I thought. Like it felt. I mean, even though and they also threw in like there's a Venom issue or two in there, and Venom attacked the Manhattan office of Krakoa. It was such a kind of just like fucking throw some shit together. It was very much
Venom
like,
or Brock.
Brock as Venom, but then because Madeline, spoilers for the story, folks. Madeline took Brock's memories, which was also affecting him because he's recently like him and his son are doing stuff. It's a whole thing.
I mean, they had the whole King in Black to like totally redeem him, and it's like I feel like we went right back to like, you know what? I do want to eat Spider-Man's brains now that I think about it.
Oh yeah, because Madeline took his memories, and I'm like, okay, so now he starts the story.
Why would she take his memories? That's interesting.
So that he would be in a more brutal barbarian, like he just like I want to eat brains, and because it took him from being Venom, and then he ended up being Bedlam after, and his son is also using the name Venom with the original Venom symbiote, so there's a lot going on in there too. So it just kind of felt like let's just throw him in here, and this is how we'll reset his memories, so we can keep having like it's not King in Black Venom. Now we just get to have him run around as Bedlam, so we can make another toy.
This is the same thing that happened with the Immortal Hulk. We're like, oh, we got to keep going. I have found at this point, I'm getting to the point with X-Men. It's about time for me to drop out and jump back in at a reset point. Like I've found with comics, I am best. This happened after Secret Wars. Where it's like, okay, I got through Secret Wars in 2015. I tried to stay on a little while. It's like, I'm just not into it. And they all knew all different. I'm out. I'm good. I'm done. And then I came back with X-Men. It felt like, okay, here's a new story. It's kind of a soft reboot. And now we're tailing off into kind of all these little different areas, and it's not nearly as cohesive. So it's kind of like, okay, I might be done. I have to stick with the big arcs as opposed to the day-to-day grind, I guess.
Yeah. And that's how comics can get from time to time. Like right now, DC's kind of doing a kind of reset point. Like they're doing the new dawn of the DCU, and like because they're like, oh well, they're kind of resetting the Justice League and stuff, and Nightwing is getting his own like reset point, which has been really good because there's a lot. I mean, every story seems to do this. You know, they kind of circle back. They spread out with these giant branches. Like, oh, well, are you reading Sinister's of Father X and Sinister's other brother of X and all this shit? And then like eventually someone comes along and said, okay, let's get this all back on track and kind of consolidate this. And then there's like, what about Marauders? And you're like, okay, like I enjoy comics, but there's definitely times where they're constantly testing our patience.
Well, on the X-Men side, during the initial launch of Dawn of X, and they had like those like 7 or 8 like core series, and that I could like, okay, everything.
You mean House of X?
No, I mean Dawn of X, the after House of X.
Gotcha. Okay.
So House of X ends, and then Dawn of X and all the new series launch, and that felt cohesive enough. Even the character, it was interesting enough to where I could follow it. But yeah, it's when it went to the second and third levels of like, we're canceling X Factor and all these, and we're restarting them as this. Well, I liked what was happening in those books. And I know you want to like shake up the creative teams. And I know Zeb Wells has to move on to Spider-Man.
You got to fuck him over for a bit. But yeah.
It feels like he was much better suited for Hellions. Felt like a much better book for him. So
I really enjoyed that book.
That's the other, wait, because Zeb Wells is still writing Spider-Man, right?
He's writing down the part of the Chasm story was his, and it was really.
That's why Madeline Pryor's involved. That's it.
Yeah, but he did.
Yeah, I guess because he brings over her from the end of Hellions, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I'll just take this with me. Maybe that was the deal they gave him, though.
I mean, it's and
get
that's
him writing on
too.
something else.
And I think that, and we've seen in the past, especially for Spider books, where it's like editorial will be like, hey, we want you to write the story, JMS, and even if you don't want to write it, we need a story where Spider-Man makes a deal with the devil, and he's like, well, I've got an idea, I can do it this way. No,
Mephisto, you said.
this is what we want, and they're kind of forced into it, which is, it's not always their fault, but definitely this one felt like even if you're given kind of a bad narrative, I think there's times where you can try and push through and find a better way out of it. And this didn't feel like he found the best way out of it. It felt like they were just like, I've got to write my story because I want to get to, I've got to give you yours so I can do mine. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm just taking it personal because I'm a Ben Reilly fan. That's all that it is.
It's never great when you're a fan of like a non-A tier list character that's directly tied to an A-list character. Because then you always get like, well, it's me, Ben Reilly. I'm gonna go hang out in the back. Cool, thanks. I'm a Tim Drake fan. Fuck.
Yeah, and I've talked about this in like other chats. I think with like friend of the pod, speaker JPG. I've talked about. Oh, I like Benvolio from Romeo and Juliet. Like he was the character that I read for when we read the play in high school. I read the part of Benvolio because I'm like, I like what's the side character? What's their thing? And so it's like Ben Reilly's definitely been a character. Like for me, it was Nightwing too, obviously, because it's like, oh, it's not Batman, but he's right up there. He's really good.
That was not a confidence booster.
He's my favorite DC guy. So it's like you said, him being tied to these other characters, they can get put through the ringer too, just for the betterment of the main character.
I've come around to Nightwing, actually. I think I mentioned that to you, Ken, in one of our chats or something like that. Having watched some of the like movies and reading I forget the name of the writer who does
The
him
current-
and
The current Tom
Damian.
Taylor stuff. Oh, him and Damian's Grant Morrison. Yeah, the Batman Robin
Grant
stuff.
Morrison. I've come around. I guess I just never gave him a real shot, I suppose. I mean, I've also never just been a fan of any of the Robins in general. But this guy, I'm becoming a fan of.
If anyone should have been a fan of Red Hood, it's you.
I was gonna say
If
that.
if
I'm
there's
like,
a
wait,
Robin,
but
Well,
Jason
no, don't get me
Todd
wrong.
after he's back?
I enjoyed Red Hood a lot.
Yeah.
But I also didn't, because I am a shitty comic reader, I didn't draw the connection between him and his like previous life. I just saw him as like,
fair.
oh, this is the dude that should be doing what Batman's doing. I didn't realize where he came from.
If you jump in and don't have any context, this is guy
Yeah.
shooting people. Nice. All right. This guy knows what's up.
Pretty much. But again, I'm also
Really
a guy who
hates
likes
the
the
Joker.
Punisher, so any guy who's going to go bang bang for the bad guys, I'm like, all right,
You're like,
sign me up.
can't be all bad.
Yeah,
That's why
exactly.
Kareem has so many Punisher stickers on his car.
I'm just supporting the cops. That's what I'm telling you guys.
He's like, but they're all the American flag with the one blue stripe down the middle.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
weird.
it's weird.
Like, I don't.
He really likes the Punisher with a rotten tooth, I guess. I don't understand. It's weird.
Yeah, it's so
It's
peculiar.
weird. It's weird.
And I
Anyway.
think that also draws from like
Let me just
the
turn
fact
off my
that
body
Batman-
cam.
that- just from a little bit, you can't see anything. No, it
Your
goes
Honor,
from the
I
fact
had-
that Batman just couldn't do anything or refuses to do what he should be doing.
Murder.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hey man, injustice taught us if Batman doesn't murder Joker at some point, Superman's gonna take over the world.
Yeah. Oh, what chat was it with you, Kim, where we're talking about what would most likely happen though versus like what happened in Injustice? Where he just basically it was a sentiment they had. It was like somebody tweeted that he'd be basically Rocky from, was it Rocky or what was it Creed, the first Creed, where he just goes to the tombstone and talks to her every day. Fills her in on the day.
Oh no, I that may have been our chat.
Basically he wouldn't become this like evil version that I enjoy. I like the authoritarian Superman. That was another draw to me. But I think that based on what we know about Superman
Anakin
being the kind of guy he
Skywalker on
is,
this bitch.
he would basically just kind of wallow in that sorrow and press on.
I mean, for the story, they had to do that. It's like, well, why
Yeah,
would Wonder Woman and Green Lantern side with him? That doesn't make a ton of sense. Shut up.
Well, with Superman?
Yeah, they side with Superman.
I can see Wonder Woman siding with Superman.
I can see I can agree with the Wonder Woman
Maybe.
because of the stuff that happened with Maxwell Lord and kind of her more like she's a war, like she'll take a life. She's Wonder Woman. She's a warrior.
Yeah.
It's not her first choice, but she's like, if it comes to that, if it comes to stopping Maxwell Lord or doing this or like letting Superman do something, I'll stop Maxwell Lord. So I can see Wonder Woman going that way. Green
Green
Lantern,
Lantern's a tough one.
yeah, he's a little bit, but also in the thing, he's a little bit like he's a little bit wishy-washy too because he's like later I was like, well, fine, I'll just become a yellow lantern, and like it's Hal, so he's the one of the worst lanterns there is. So
This is true.
like it wasn't like it was
repeatedly
Kyle.
said.
Kyle didn't even get a chance in that universe. I don't think. I don't know if he even appeared in the comics. Like it was
I don't think so.
John who stayed at Green Lantern. I think he may have. I don't know if John played a role in the story in the comics. Now I'm wondering.
I don't remember
But,
anymore.
yeah.
The comics went like weird places. They went down a rabbit hole.
I think, well, and then the problem is now because there's so many popular extended, like I should say, ongoing and continuous stories like Deceased and other things like the DC versus vampires. Like I'm getting them all mixed up. I'm like, wait, is that the one where Dinah Lance becomes a Green Lantern? Like, no, that's in Deceased, I think. And it's not the Smallville one where Barbara Gordon becomes a Green Lantern. Like, there's so many different multiverses that have a
You're a Green
long-running
Lantern.
stuff. Yeah.
You're a Green Lantern. And you're a Green Lantern.
What's the whole
So-
point? Is that there's only one per like Earth or whatever or something, or
Nope,
per
Earth
like
gets 14. Everybody else gets one.
okay.
Well, there. I mean,
Gotcha.
that's kind of covered in the War of Light. That's one thing to kind of go back to that. But then also too, it is because like, oh, we mentioned them, but they're all in different universes. So in the one where Hal dies, that's when Dinah gets the ring. So it's like
Okay, makes sense.
it's not that they have that many in most of them.
In
Although
the main
Not at
universe,
once, you
there's
mean.
6 on Earth.
That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
that is, and that's where I'm like the War of Light kind of explains that because that's where this is ridiculous. So
Get
this-
into it.
on Earth is where the White Lantern was kind of residing, essentially buried, and that was the reasoning why there were so many Green Lanterns from Earth that were worthy, is because it brought them there as like kind of a nexus point. If my memory serves correctly, is it that was the reasoning why the sector had so many Green Lanterns, and also ones that became honor guard. Not because you had like the active ones, like Jessica Cruz was like the active one, but Hal, John, Guy, Kyle, they were all honor guard. So they weren't active duty like the standard rank and file. They were the upper echelon. So it's like, oh, they're all the sergeants. So they have higher roles and stuff is what they eventually got to. But I think that got wiped away too. So
So what you're telling me is that because we have writers who are based on Earth, they center Earth as everything.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah.
Okay.
So and because we have writers who grew up with Hal Jordan, when they get to come back and become the writer for Green Lantern, like, well, I don't care about Kyle. I'm just going to bring Hal back because I love Hal. It's like
5 years
Kyle's-
away, baby. 5
Yeah.
years away. You're gonna get a bunch like it's like how we got a whole bunch of like the 90s X-Men stuff came back that nobody actually liked.
What do you mean by that?
Here's Onslaught again. No one liked Onslaught. Nobody
oh,
liked him.
dude, how dare you? I
Onslaught sold
love
so many
Onslaught.
toys. How dare you?
He is ridiculous, but as far as like a gimmick, I loved him. That was like
Purple
that
God,
was,
how dare you?
but also like all the goofy, like I loved, there's so many little things, and I mean it's definitely the 90s in me that are just like saying that Onslaught as a thing too is like, oh, he's the negative influence of, it's ridiculous. I'm not saying he's not ridiculous, but people loved him at the time, and in retrospect you're just like, this is ridiculous, but I love it.
Whack ass heroes were born.
That's like saying like the ridiculousn's of the Amalgam universe is crap. It's like no. It's so ridiculous, but I love it and it's great. And you give me a 12-issue run of Spider-Boy today, and I will give you my money.
Well, when Marvel buys DC, you'll get it.
I mean, when Discovery's like, well, we
Will we,
don't need.
though?
I mean-
Disney's they're closing up those pocketbooks real quick.
Not as
I
fast
mean-
as Discovery.
Yeah, not as fast as Discovery. And I
I don't know. Did you hear you heard about the layoffs, right?
at Disney?
Yeah.
No.
They started round 1 of I believe 2 of something to get rid of 7,000 employees or something like that.
I mean,
Now, granted, in perspective, I think they have 221,000 employees across the world, but it's still
It's still
7K is a
no,
big
7K is
slash.
a lot of people. Even if that's only 0.10% or 0.2% of your staff, it's still a lot of staff.
And,
Sorry, S-Spin.
yeah, I mean they don't know what to do with S-Spin. Not at least not now.
They want to sell it. That's what they want to do. The
Yeah, but
TV
who
rights are
wants
too
it?
expensive. It's the only live TV you can use anymore.
I mean, I agree with you. I'm not. I mean, you're stating facts. I just, again, who's out there willing to pay for it right now?
Turner Broadcasting.
They're just sitting there waiting.
The corpse of Ted Turner is coming back.
Oh God.
He's reforming, baby, right now. Everything's going to
There's-
start at 9:37.
I do also wonder, like, again, as we get limited series going forward, so to speak, with Marvel or whatnot, how some of this comic stuff will play into like the MCU in general. Like, what stories will they start exploring, or will they just stay with is it the Ultimate Universe they're following right now?
Well, they're
In the
kind of
MCU.
everywhere.
Oh, no,
As far as
yeah,
as far
no.
as the characters and stories.
No. They're more an amalgamation of the 616 universe is the closest thing you're going to
Okay.
find. As far as the ultimate stuff, until they bring in Miles, which is the only pretty much the only long-standing character from the Ultimate Universe, it wouldn't really count. I don't think is
Maker.
Who?
Big
Make
head
your
Reed
own,
Richards got a weird helmet. Ring a bell.
it does. He's like Dr. Bong with that thing. I get it. I'm aware
or
of Maker.
Xavier. Just put stuff on smart guys' heads, cover their faces.
I mean, really, if you
They're
made an
too
action
smart
figure,
to look good.
You just do a head swap. It's the same thing because it's just like a black bodysuit.
No, he's got the little like thingy. He's got his little like Children of the Future or whatever it was called logo.
Okay, there we go.
Professor X just like fucking. He does so many sit-ups to make that suit look good.
You think?
All he does sit-ups, cardio all day.
Or is he put it a mental post?
I was gonna say he's
that he
probably
looks
just some
that good.
slob right now.
Yeah,
He probably looks like the dude from Wall-E.
Somebody's gonna figure it out. Like Jean goes, "Hey, wait a minute! God damn it, Professor!"
Either that or Emma. Emma's probably already figured it out.
Emma won't. Go ahead. Sorry.
I would say, but then she's like, no, well, I do the same thing. So
Yeah, she can't call him on his shit.
like, like, just be cool, Professor. Jeez.
Jesus Christ. No, Emma will pay for the surgery. She's fine.
That's true. She wants to look at it in both in your mind and actually in her own.
Yeah.
She can't fool herself.
Isn't she supposed to marry Iron Man at some point? Is that one of the future predictions?
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like
depends
it
on the
fits
timeline.
at all anywhere.
No, this
Remember,
is this.
I want to say, remember, there's also depending on what it was, there was the Ruby Summers, the one.
No, this was the Marvel issues was like,
Tiffany
here's what's
Summers.
coming up. It was like referenced in that.
Freaking Summers
Oh.
are like rats.
like the
That's-
Bratz dolls.
Rats. They're just
They
everywhere.
all like Bratz dolls.
Yeah.
Big eyes, causing problems. Yeah, Bratz dolls.
Gotcha.
Also, that's Mr. Sinister's fault because he's just constantly, hey, what if I mix Summer's DNA with this potato? Oh yeah, here comes Tater Tot Summers right at you.
He does have a hard on for the Summers. I don't know why.
He does. Summers and Grays.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's ever been a story where he's come across Corsair, like Big Daddy Summers. Like it's like, oh, the forebearer of them all. Like,
Oh, found him.
oh yes.
I found the spigot.
Like I'm so curious. Like, and that's I'm trying because I don't think Sinister goes into space too often. So it's like he's never really, and Corsair rarely comes to Earth.
Isn't
So
Corsair dead now?
Maybe, who knows? Tomorrow he's alive. I don't know.
Last time I
Last we saw,
Corsair,
he
I think was
was about
the
to shoot
Adam
himself
X
in the
stuff.
head.
I thought he was dying. He was dying of something, and his time displaced son was on an adventure with him. That's the last time I read a book with him in it.
The last time I saw him, I thought the brood had like already impregnated him. He was like, "I'm going to shoot myself."
I mean,
Yeah, but
possibly,
you
but
could
then
Watch out, son.
You can recover from the brood. It's fine.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say it didn't show him
Everybody
actually. Didn't show him actually doing it. He just said, "I have one bullet left," and he's like, "Son, they're coming."
Didn't Thor fully turn recently? A couple years ago, that weird X-Men run was like, I'm a Brood now. I'm the mighty Brood Thor. Look at me. I look weird.
I mean, but yeah, apparently there was a that's and it's drawn by Ed McGuinness, so it looks good.
Yeah, no, it looks good, but it's like, yeah, if you go into space, you're going to become a Brood at some point.
Yeah,
It's just
I-
this is how it works.
Yeah.
I hadn't read it, but yeah,
Either that or Mr. Captain Marvel's going to punch you somehow.
which
Yeah.
Captain Marvel?
The one that just punches people in space.
The current Captain Marvel.
Yes.
That's Carol Danvers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
She's a space puncher. It's well known.
Okay.
She's like the ultimate cop.
Yeah.
There's no cameras in space.
Yeah.
Jesus.
She Carol Danvers. Oh, this is interesting because I know some people that love Carol Danvers and are extremely left, and it's kind of like,
Really?
she feels like a cop.
She's a cop. She's a cop.
Hey man, Civil
See,
War II.
we're here. That's in line with, but then I mean, of the DC universe, I'm sorry, the Marvel universe, Novas are more the cops of they're the Green
Fine.
Lanterns.
She's the Jack Bauer of space. You happy?
Yeah, that's gonna say that she would be more the Jack Bauer because she's
Just
the one.
torturing people left and right just because it
Yeah,
might help.
Where's Thanos? I don't know why that made no sense.
Because he
whatsoever.
sounded like that too. He
Yeah.
he had Batman voice
He had a
before
gruff
Batman.
voice.
Yeah.
I will. He was Liam Neeson. Like if Jack Bauer said, "I will find you and I will kill you," I'm pretty sure he actually did say that at some point.
Oh yeah.
Probably Nina.
Nina was awesome.
Yeah, she was really good at being a traitor.
Every season.
Yeah,
For what, 3 seasons?
for 3 seasons. Like, hey, killed your wife. Oh, now I fucked you over again. Up, third time's a charm. Go fuck yourself, Jack. Okay, man, it's cool. You know,
I was
We
going
don't
to say, I
like
think
this guy.
as soon as they got rid of her, the show really went downhill.
Yeah.
Lost the thread.
wait. So then, who's the Vic Mackey?
Your turn to play bad cop?
Nah. Good cop and bad cop left for the day. I'm a different kind of cop.
A space
Of the Marvel universe.
of the Marvel
like,
universe.
The guy
You mean
that's
not the thing?
I didn't know
Yeah, not
because
the thing.
that's the first thing
Not
that went
the
in my
thing.
head because of Michael Chiklis.
yeah.
But
no,
okay.
Personality wise, so I'm a good guy. Oh fuck, it's Professor X or Tony Stark or Mr. Fantastic.
No, because you got to work like level like what there's like. I was gonna say maybe Nick Fury
It's gain, yeah, but it's for personal gain with him.
for
Yeah.
Vic. Yeah, it is for.
It's
personal
not
gain.
like for the greater good, like, and all those guys like, I'm doing it for the. So maybe Professor X. I do feel like a lot of Professor X does is for personal gain. He just pretends it isn't.
Well, I feel like he's still. I think he's just lazy. Like Vic isn't lazy. Professor X he has this grandiose
Vic's a lot of
goal.
things. Lazy ain't one of them.
Professor X has this goal of like, oh, we're gonna make humans love us, and it's like, well, that's a lot of work. Well, not if I cut corners.
So wait, could then if it's a let's say because, but
That's a good
believe?
question.
Do they have to believe that they're the hero? Is that the? I mean, because Mr. Sinister does a lot for his own gain, and he believes he's the hero.
No,
And
because
there's a
Vic
lot of-
knew he was. Vic thought he was a fundamentally good man at the end, but he knew he wasn't the hero. He wasn't a good
And-
man either. He just thought like,
And
I'm doing
and
right by my
Sinister knows
family.
he's not a good guy.
Okay.
Sinister
okay.
knows he's a dick.
Sinister really enjoys just fucking with DNA. It's like he's like, man, it'd be cool if I just turned every mutant to a Sinister. That'd be cool.
Sinister's the bad scientist in every movie. Give me the funding. I'll do
Yeah, he
anything
does-
for funding.
He does love funding.
Who is the Vic Mackey in Marvel?
That's good,
Universe?
Kareem. Yeah, he
You know
is.
who Sinister is? Sinister's the BD Wong. He's
Yes, from Jurassic Park. You're
he's
right.
the BD Wong, yeah, from Jurassic Park.
You just told me to make him bigger and faster, so that's what I did, and I loved doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who authorized you to do this?
You did. Bigger. Scarier. Cooler, I believe is the word that you used in your memo. You cannot have an animal with exaggerated predator features without the corresponding behavioral traits.
What you're doing here, what you have done.
The board will shut down this park, seize your work, everything you've built.
And Hammond won't be there to protect you this time.
All of this exists because of me.
If
Wait,
BD Wong wore more fabulous capes.
I can picture BD Wong wearing a fabulous cape, actually.
Yeah.
Because he's
can
in
he be
both
Sinister?
Jurassic. I think I would watch a BD Wong Sinister.
But does he have because you got to have a lot of like
Flair.
you got to chew that scenery, man. That there can be nothing left by the
Come
time
on.
you're done with it. You're going to be Sinister.
You've seen SVU.
Yeah, but he didn't chew the scenery. He just kind of like
He could when he would go on his little soliloquies about psychology.
I'm willing to give it a shot.
I'd watch that. I think he can pull it off.
So Mr. Sinister is just the Jurassic Park scientists.
Yeah, basically. But we still haven't figured out Vic though.
I don't know enough about Vic Mackey. Part of
He's
me,
a corrupt cop that just did
No.
everything he could
yeah.
and turned on anyone.
I feel a little bit like Odin, depending on the depiction.
That's good.
But I don't. I like. I'm trying to run through stuff in my because I feel like Nick Fury, but also thinking Nick Fury is kind of like, oh, for the greater good. Whereas
Yeah.
Vic Mackey seems like that's for the greater good of me.
Yes.
And yeah.
Well,
Which that feels more like Odin, where it's like, no, this is for the good of Asgard, and by the good of Asgard, I mean for good of me because I am Asgard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to remember that he was never there to protect, which is Nick Fury's fundamental thing. Like he'll protect Earth at all costs. Vic Mackey would.
It's not Beast.
Ooh.
Because I know Beast says he's doing it for the greater good, but even Beast knows he's doing it for Beast at this point.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm one of the good guys, 100%, man, one of the good guys. And he will literally, any of his chains, any of his strike team, immediately, like, yeah.
It could be Beast, actually. It could be. Because Beast has a bunch of shady stuff going on the sides. And he loves to cover it up, though. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Sinister wouldn't cover things up. He's like, hey.
He's like, yeah, go fuck yourself.
I did it. Yeah.
I did.
And you're never gonna catch me.
Sick. Yeah.
But Beast knows that he's doing bad, and he's like, all right, and these are my like fail safes to cover things in case you come after me or you think you're on my tail. I would say he's definitely a runner up.
I don't even want Wolverine to kill Beast. I want Sage to kill Beast.
That'd be dope.
I want Wolverine's he's gotten enough vengeance. It's fine. I want Sage. I want somebody else to like pop that right in the head.
Yeah. I think it's the unfitting too, because I mean I feel like Domino doesn't really care what happens to Beast. Omega doesn't really care. Deadpool just won't shut up. He also does not care. Wolverine, I think he's genuinely fucked over, but like you said, Wolverine's had his share of vengeance.
When does Wolverine not get vengeance?
I think what would be like the icing on top is if we find out that Beast is part of her alcoholism.
Oh, I think it's 100%.
You think so?
Oh, okay. Hold on. What if it's a reverse busted and Beast has been controlled the entire time by Sage? Oh, flippity-dippity.
That would make her. I think she'd be mastermind level at that point.
And it's all a fuck you to Professor X for selling her to the Hellfire Club.
Ooh.
Which fair. Yeah.
I mean, that's a long con right there.
I know, but it's the X-Men and comics, and they brought back the Clone Saga. Like 25 years later, like, hey, you know what we should do? Let's bring that clone back, and that one was Peter. Cool, all right, let's do it.
I'm just saying, to use Beast to do all of this interact stuff.
Actually, this is a good question. What is one haphazard event like the Clone Saga that you would like to see revisited in modern comics?
Haphazard.
I mean, in regards to the Clone Saga, the Clone Saga was less of an event, more of a era.
I'm thinking like
Dark.
Yeah.
Like Dark Reign wasn't so much an event as it was an era within that time frame. Like it's like stuff happened throughout, but it's like that was and also because it like I don't know. I mean, not that I'm being nitpicky, but that's also what makes me. So that welcome to this.
It's kind of the point of the podcast. So
it's where my headspace is.
Everyone has a role. Everyone has a role.
Okay, so pick an era, pick something that you would like to see revisit, something where you've got an itch. Like, you know what? Resolve that for me. Thank you.
Wait, resolve that or
bring
Just
something
bring it
back.
back.
Yeah.
I mean, I mentioned earlier I want more amalgam because I love alternate universes and I love that amalgam.
We're just gonna give you more infinity warps.
Yeah, I know. God,
Yeah.
dude.
Have another. Hey, we warped the warps. We rewarped them with the other warps, so now it's 4 in 1. So
We
now
heard
it's
you like
White
warps. We're
Queen,
gonna put some warps in your warps.
White Queen, Wolverine, Thor, and a baked potato. The one Sinister experimented on.
I mean, I know the
was a
Irish in you
callback.
just like baked potato, but you're just like it
It's
feels.
March. I'm getting hungry, to be honest. It's dinner soon, you know.
We turned the baked potato into mashed potato this time.
Oh, that's a summer's tater for sure.
This is all Groton Summers. He's
Sinister got to him again.
yeah.